the AK Man has released a new cursed gun. New cursed guns images review video. And myself, being a bit of a fan of cursed guns, obviously we have to watch it. The stapler one better be the one that the British guy was arrested for on the train. But we have Crackhead cursed gun images from Brandon Herrera. I didn't know crackheads were such a fan of Thomas the Train, but that was just an autism thing. Let's go.
Are we rolling? What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Cursed Gun Images, one of your most favorite and one of my least favorite videos on the channel. One where I go through some of the internet's most cursed gun images. Some of these are just things I found on the internet. Some of them are submitted directly by you, the viewer, because you love to watch me suffer.
Yeah. Who doesn't?
I'm your host, Brandon Barbera. Let's get into the Glockenspiel torture. Right out the gate, have you ever wanted to be in a bout of fisticuffs, but also want to shoot squirrels and or injure people? I introduce to you 22 caliber brass knuckles.
It's
gonna be a long video.
Wow.
Funny enough, I think according to the NFA, this weapon is technically classified as an AOW or any other
this
weapon.
Would be an AOW.
There's a bunch of weird shit, like as far as disguised firearms that end up on the AOW list. Like you still have to get an NFA tax stamp, but instead of $200, it's like $5. Already autistically in the weeds. Anyhow, this does bring a whole new meaning to the term brass knuckles. Also, I just love the practical.
That gun looks like a hazard to your
hand. If you're going to hit somebody with it, you're going to also shoot the guy directly to your left. Funny enough, that's also how I won my boxing match. Mom, I want Mosin Nagant. We have Mosin Nagant at home. Mosin Nagant at home.
What?
Yeah, I don't know if this works or not, but this is
There's no way that
psychotic.
works.
I think the intent is to make this like kind of a takedown rifle. Either that or maybe it's just a meme. But turning a Mosin into something that you use like a pump-action BB gun you had when you were a kid.
There's sub 2000 Mosin, chat. Fold in half.
Either way, terminally online. And for the Barbie girl in a Barbie world, we have whatever this AR-15 is.
Lancer
Look, I think that just marketing things specifically to women by just throwing pink shit on it is already kind of cringe.
Oh, it has a Labubu on it. This is the worst part. Right there. The pink gun, it's gross and cringe. This is the worst part.
Women and like, flamboyantly gay dudes. But that wasn't enough to include it in cursed gun images if it wasn't for the fucking Labubu hanging off the handguard.
That's really bad.
It's like a Funko Pop, but fucking worse somehow. I don't get it. I don't understand this generation. 6'7", fuck you.
6'7", 6'7".
Next. Oh boy, that didn't take long. What is it with firearms seized in other countries and like their obsession with plastidip?
Did they cover it in tar?
Leprosy. Oh god, this is from Jamaica. I just saw the top left. Hey man, why you got? No, I'm not doing that. Honestly,
can we import Jamaican
the best
guns?
Of the improvised guns we have in this lineup. You guys all remember the famous Smith & Methson, right? Never underestimate the ability of somebody who's high on meth to find the most complicated way of doing something you can buy for $150. There's this one I found recently, which is a what appears to be a 22 LR revolver with the signature grip tape, which I have to wonder if this was even ever remotely functional. I see there's that little spring there attached to the barrel, like, to the hammer that like you pull it back. It's got the
This unfortunately looks like it might work. What I'm really concerned
about is that barrel, which looks real fucking small, even for 22 LR. Not only that, it looks notably inconsistent and possibly crooked. This whole thing makes a lot more sense when you realize the other details of why this was confiscated. It was a guy, also potentially high on meth, impersonating a law enforcement officer, specifically a U.S. Marshal, in what has got to be the most convincing costume I've ever seen.
Oh my goodness. No way that guy didn't ride on the short bus.
I really have to admire his optimism for thinking he would get far enough along with that jacket to think that he needed to have a convincing working handgun. And then there's whatever the fuck this is, which, I mean, it looks like a fairly straightforward, just pull back.
That looks like it would
fire, 22 caliber. And I understand why a lot
22
of these people
single shot
are. I mean,
nonsense.
it's fairly simple. It's low pressure, very low chance of blowing up, and still potentially fatal. I mean, it's not going to do a whole lot of damage, but I mean, with the AM-180, it was considered less lethal. Which really just means being a cop in the 1960s.
Less lethal than 30-06.
Not getting too far off topic, but if I do not see an AM-180 in the new season of Fallout, I'm going to show my ass. But anyhow, out of all the crackhead guns I've seen, this is probably the one that, in my eyes, looks most likely to work just from an outsider's perspective. That was until I saw the ammunition it was seized with. So you see a couple of different loads in the same box of CCI. You've got, you know, your typical lead projectiles for a 22, a bunch of crimped cases implying that they are blanks, possibly used in the testing to make sure that they could actually set off the rimfire primer. And then you zoom out and you see what I can only describe as 22 caliber thunder. Isn't even straight. Like, it's visibly fucking crooked.
It has to be crooked so it matches the barrel.
On meth it is.
This is your brain on drugs.
2026. Fresh start, same system. Banks win, you pay. Fees and calls piling up monthly. Unless you fight back. PDS debt has already helped hundreds of thousands cut their debt and put money back in their pocket, not the banks. Whether you're struggling with credit cards, personal loans, or medical bills, PDS debt has custom
comments,
solutions
those are
to
snake
get you out of
shot?
debt. And there's no minimum credit
blanks?
score required. They're here to help you save more, pay off your debt
Weird
faster, and
snake
put that
shot?
money back where it belongs.
Definitely would not trust it.
Your pocket. PDS debt is A+ rated on the Better Business Bureau, and they have thousands of 5-star reviews. Why? Because as I said, PDS debt has helped hundreds of thousands to get out of debt. It's about to be a new year, and it could be a new you, one that
New year, new you.
So don't wait another month.
Unlike
Take back
last
control
year.
in 30 seconds. Get your free personalized assessment at pdsdebt.com/bh. That's pdsdebt.com/bh. pdsdebt.com/bh.
PDSdebt.com
Also, a big thank you, as always, to the sponsor of the channel, SDI.edu. If you've ever thought about getting your start in gunsmithing and weapons technology, you can check them out using the links down in the description and in the pinned comment. Now, unfortunately, back to cursed gun images. Now, this one comes straight from our brothers in the English language, the UK. Turns out a young man has converted a staple gun.
I knew it. I knew it was going to be the UK one.
Live cartridges. You may remember this oldie but goodie from cursed gun images long ago, where somebody had converted a staple gun to be able to fire a 22 caliber long rifle. Judging by the ruler in the bottom right-hand corner of this photo, I'm assuming it was also a crime when they did it. But apparently a man by the name of Jamie Young in the UK was given a 5-year sentence for doing the same
5 years?
thing. This is also just telling me that staple guns are apparently alarmingly easy to convert if you have the willpower. And
yes. Yes, they are.
Potentially methamphetamine. But that's crazy. Converting something off the shelf to be a single-shot weapon and getting 5 years in prison. In the United States, as long as you're not a felon, making your own guns is perfectly legal.
Ludi would be
this
proud.
Is also the UK, where if you say a naughty tweet, you also get thrown in prison. Pour one out for the homies stuck behind enemy lines in the UK. We love you. We see you. We are equally embarrassed on your behalf by your government. Seriously, the free speech stuff is getting fucking bad in the UK right now.
The UK has fallen.
They had the woman who got sexually assaulted by somebody, and then she said a naughty thing about the person who had sexually assaulted her, and then she was the one who got arrested. Fucking insane. I've never been more proud of my ancestors.
Imagine
tea in that harbor.
slurring at someone who sexually assaulted you and you getting in trouble.
I said this, but I still, I haven't put hands on the FAMAS yet. I'm not sure what to feel about it until I do, but I do know a lot of the French rifle enjoyers seem to defend it quite a lot. So for all of you who stan the FAMAS,
I stand the FAMAS.
To you, Thomas the Tank Rifle.
Not that FAMAS.
It's just a shitty FAMAS skin. Look, it's still my opinion the best thing to ever come out of France was Expedition 33. The FAMAS has to earn my love. I will say, however, this does remind me of the original
how do you aim it?
Mac 11 lunchbox or whatever the fuck that was, the Thomas the Tank
the
engine,
Thomas
like
box
clamshell thing with the Mac 11 in it. And if you've been a fan of the channel for a while, you already know why I brought that up.
I got 7 Mac 11s, about 8, 38s, 9, 10 Mac 10s, the shit's never end.
Maybe I'm getting old, but there's nothing I love more than like shitty early 2000s internet humor.
Way better than modern humor.
Back before we had AI slop to generate this shit, right? Somebody had to have autism. Respect. This next
True.
one is like when you're driving home and you want McDonald's. No, we have McDonald's at home. Well, what if you're driving home and you want an MP7? Well, apparently Poland has an answer for that as well. MP7 at home. Yeah, apparently the Polish PM63 was being converted over into a relatively modern submachine gun.
Relatively
PDW,
modern?
however you want to put it.
They just bolted a forend on it.
Housing on the front that just, yeah, it's kind of a conversion kit. I mean, fuck, actually half of these look 3D printed. I'm just now seeing the layer lines on the one on the bottom left. Which, look,
Nice.
I can't really talk shit. I mean, before I had MP7, I had MP7 at home. It's cool until you realize it's cope.
Didn't he also
Cope
do a
from it,
PM63
seed from it.
video?
MP7 arrives all the same. At the end of the day, cope is in the eye of the beholder.
Modernized
Now, a lot of you are probably
PM63
familiar
video
with
when.
ghost guns. You know, 80% lowers, whether it be like a Glock or an AR-15 that are made of various different materials. A lot of them are polymer. Some, especially the AR-15s, are aluminum. One that you don't often see is wood. Wood with a bunch of screws and an erector set worth of fucking steel brackets. I don't know what kind of upper that is, but I
Does it
guarantee
work?
it's a PSA. Honestly, just for the meme, I kind of respect it. Especially when you realize that the buffer tube and the stock are just fucking PVC pipe. There's no end to that buffer tube. It just keeps going, actually straight up through the plumbing, through the pipes, into the underwater level of Super Mario. On a scale of 1 to dangerous, fuck it, I'd try it. Now this next one looks like a fairly innocuous,
I would try it with
just
a string.
modern carbine. Except to a tiny margin of you out there that are nerds that have played Escape from Tarkov. In which case, if you take a closer look at the receiver, you'll notice it's actually a Kedr. You know that super shitty starter scav submachine gun you get in that game? Say what you will, when you're barely scraping by.
Why?
That Kedr makes the cheddar. Apparently some company in Russia, I guess, was turning these into full-on, full-length carbines. Barrel length and everything, a necessity in Russia to be able to sell it to the civilian market without being labeled as
crooked
a pistol.
washer brake.
So in general, that's already kind of cursed. But if you just zoom in on that muzzle brake, I can't let this go. The Kedr's chambered in 9x18 Makarov, typically. That is an obnoxiously large muzzle brake.
Hey, you
On
know,
top of
that
I will
9x18
never
recoil,
understand
pretty
the
extreme.
Russian fascination. Pull up the inside of like a VSS suppressor, okay? I'll never understand the Russian obsession.
It's the same
with
thing.
just putting bent washers in shit. I do want a Kedr. Is it good? I don't know. Probably not. But
No.
I just want one. One of these days. Now to something I don't want. When we think about combat rifles, we tend to leave out the combat rifles of our forefathers. It's not all just AR-15 derivatives. There were things that people marched into combat long ago with, like, for example, the Lee Enfield. Saw a bunch of service in
not
World
quite
War I
old enough to be
and
black
was
powder.
beloved by infantry troops across the globe.
What did
And it
someone
made
do
it
to their
100 years in the
Enfield?
future just
Oh,
for some
no.
predator to do this. I will never understand the fascination with just putting AK underfolders on everything. Okay, I do kind of understand. AK underfolders are like cheap as fuck. So like if you're just like looking at like trash blasters and like crazy shit, crazy projects to do, I kind of get it. Also, the irony was not lost on me that the only Lee Enfield I have in this room is that one. In my defense, there's historical precedent for that, but we'll get into that later. No, we won't. I got into it before. I made a whole
there's a whole video on it.
Yeah, no, straight up, that's an AK underfolding stock that's affixed to that. You know,
Is that
AK
just
underfolding stocks
welded
notorious for
on?
their great cheek welds. Look, I want to hate it. I really do.
I hate it.
The more
I'll
I look
hate
at
it.
it kind of goes hard.
No,
I don't know, you tell me.
I'll hate it.
Cursed or, maybe blurst. Not quite blessed, not quite cursed. It just, something about this is hitting a funny bone with me. I'm not sure. Do you feel the same?
Yeah, it's hitting a funny bone.
Really a cursed
When you hit a
Images
funny bone,
episode
it
if you don't
sucks.
have a high point. I still need to make a handguard for it, but here she is. A High Point JHP 45. The frame comes off with 2 bolts in under a minute. AK underfolder. Again, with the AK underfolders. Just a fucking washer over it with a screw. High Point owners, I love he's got like the spray painted fake light on the slide on one side. I'm very curious. The longer I look at this, the more confusing
Why
it
not
is.
just use a
Look at that
VZ61
spring on the
overfolder?
barrel. And the fact that this is 45 ACP, but you have like a fucking Walmart hunting scope on top. Looks like the stock at least does collapse, which is, at least that's relatively functional. But man, that stock angle is absurdly low.
Wait, this spring might be functionally the recoil spring. It looks like this bar here is going to a sleeve that would actuate this spring, and this bar is going back and is attached to the front of the slide. I think this exposed spring is the recoil spring, because if you look in this nice little hole that they cut out, I don't see a spring in there. This is the recoil spring. Oh my goodness. Chat, this is what you can do with a degree from SDI right here. Oh my goodness. Why?
Absolutely no cheek weld in sight if you're using that scope. But you know what? Fuck it, it's a high point. These are like the classiest of the meth heads building guns. The aristocracy of the Smith & Methson class, if you will. But at least most of the high point enthusiasts don't have access to a welder, because then things could get really nasty.
Oh.
Drumroll, please. Ladies and gentlemen...
I'm scared.
I don't have a name for it. Best I got is the low point. It seems to be predominantly a PPS 43 with a Thompson foregrip and a high point upper on
There's
top.
no way that works.
Clutched together with what I can only assume is a MIG welder and some JB weld. The PPS with the
No way
woodstock
that's
does
functional.
fucking hard, but not now. You got the mag well right below. Oh god, I don't know. There's so many. The question in my mind is always like, does this actually function? And
There's no
in this
way that
case,
functions.
The answer is, I hope not. You know, the magwell's in the right place, but I guess just to harken back to an old cursed gun images joke, where to bolt go though? I don't see anywhere for it to actually cycle, but either way, this is actually the gun that inspired me to make another one
Made
of these
with
videos
love
because
from
it just
meth and fence.
hurts my fucking
Yes.
retinas. And if I had to see it, then so do you.
Sydney Sweeney got a mastectomy from Sid from Toy Story.
Ugh. Anyhow, I'm about
I don't
to
like
bleach
that.
my fucking eyeballs and recalcify my pineal gland. I appreciate you guys for staying all the way to the end, and as always, I will see you sexy YouTube mother lovers in the next video. Thank you, and if I don't see you until then, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. I didn't like that last one. That last one was really bad. I hope that whoever made that sees the video.
Anyhow, I'm about to fucking bleach my...
What are we bleaching?
Chlamydia, your father's here.
That was wild.